My name is Wang from CCICED, and morning around, I think it's the first time after COVID, and I go back to Germany. Last time I was I think in the 2017, and when I attended the COP 23 in Bonn. And so I think it's my pleasure to be here to share my experience from the policy perspective on international cooperation on climate. So today I would like to mention three topics. The first one would be the new features, new trend of international cooperation on climate, and also the policy trends in recent years. So today I think we would like to three parts. The first one about international cooperation on climate and also the new features and new trends. Second one, want to talk about the Chinese experience on our CO2 peaking and the carbon neutrality strategy. Last one, we'll think about the next step for the international climate cooperation and what's the implications for this program, especially EU program. I think in recent years, climate cooperation is in a new stage, especially since 2021, because up to now, I think we enter a new stage of the Paris Agreement implementations, because COP26 approved the rule books for the whole Paris Agreement. And but in recent years, main storyline it's ambitious targets versus concrete actions. So whatever for the COP 26, 27, and this year 28, and also the CBD COP 15. So I think it's main storyline. So why we have this kind of storyline? Because we adopt a bottom-up approach since Paris Agreement, because this look like based on the best available science and target-driven, because every countries put forward their national determined contributions and give a cycled review and update to this NDC. So we call it as a target-driven process. But realize this kind of targets, we need multiple must make up the multiple gaps, including the technology gap, funding gap, capacity gap, and also the policy and the governance and just the transition pathways, because it's like a gap of integration. So it's a comprehensive the gaps. And also, we influenced by the COVID-19 for 3 years. And after I stopped here, I find we have reduced our mutual trust and also increased misunderstanding. So that's why dialogue is here. It's very important. So now we rebuild, restructure, and restore. But in some countries, especially developing countries, in the traditional way. So use more the fossil fuel and more CO2 emissions. But also we have an opportunity for the green transitions. So on the other hand, I think geopolitical tension, everybody here, especially the Russian-Ukraine war caused the mainstream of a generalization of security issues. So I think that's first one. Second one is U.S.-China strategic gaming. I think de-risking, decoupling, and similar. Even China and U.S. signed a joint declaration in 2023, but mainly is in the policy aspect. So we avoid to use the term technology cooperation, but scientific cooperation is okay. So on the other hand, there's an increased cost of a green transition now, delay our achieving our targets. So I think that in the future we should strengthen the cooperation on climate. It's very, very important for common futures, including the scientific cooperation, like EU. So this first trend, I think, is the global environmental and energy transition the whole situation is not changed, because based on the IEA data, we can find the global CO2 emission from energy and the industry had reached a high in last year. And also, I think we can find many countries, including the China and the EU, and return to the coal temporarily. But I think in the long term, I think we'll maintain our net zero strategy and carbon neutrality goals. And also, we can find that many countries make a commitment on the net zero emissions and also the carbon neutrality. So I think it's from a long run, I think it's optimistic. But after COVID, I think every restoration, especially the bilateral and the multilateral cooperation and the negotiation on climate. The second trend is, we also face a lot of challenge and uncertainties for achieving our targets. So including the slowdown of economy, including the financial gaps, especially commitment from developed countries. After almost 14 years, we cannot, meet the money by the $100 billion from the developed countries, especially US. We can share the data. They commit about 11 billion, but finally only approved by the Congress on 1 billion. So it's a big gap. But I'm not sure this year. Maybe we'll achieve, but it's also very difficult. But this kind of money is not only the money for climate and also the biodiversity. So another thing is energy security issues has become more and more serious. In whatever in China and in the EU and in other countries. So I think it's challenges and uncertainties. And also we can find green industry develop very rapidly, and but we also have some gaps. For example, technology. Based on the IEA report, half of the technology for carbon neutrality now is not available. So we must more research and cooperation to push the technology innovation. And also I think we can find trade protectionism and also the export control from many countries related to the green industry, and also efficient innovation I just mentioned. I think another gap is leadership and governance deficit. So we need more leadership, and from Europe and from China. I think Franz Timmermans now is visit Beijing today. I think we will discuss more the cooperation between China and the EU and to push the climate issues resolution. So I think that's a second one. And also we can find many the new international and domestic rules. Maybe it's not very support for, or maybe the unilateral policy from US, from EU, and also the geopolitical issues, and I think influence the green industry. But we also could find for the renewables production in China, in United States and EU, we also have a lot of products and the capacity to meet these targets. But it's also a lot of obstacle to control this kind of thing. I will explain the Chinese experience later. And the last one, I think the global south. I think we need more support, more assistance. Not only the money, but also the technology and the capacity. Capacity is very, very important, including the knowledge and data. I think some basic capacity is lack of. So I think we need more the support in the future and in this area. The second part I want to explain China's dual carbon strategy. We called CO2 peaking and carbon neutrality as dual carbon issues in China. So in China, I think we'll adopt a system approach, even it's not easy to achieve. But we established our 1+N policy framework. What's one, including the 2 documents, is a working guidance for the achieving CO2 peaking and carbon neutrality is for the next 4 decades. And also we have another document, action plan for CO2 peaking before 2030. This one. And also +N is a series documents, including the key areas, the implementation planning, and energy, the industry, transportation, building, and also key industries, including the industry, agriculture, energy, and construction, and support guarantees from innovation, from financial system. So I think, and also including some provincial implementation planning. So it's a 1+N system. You can find the targets here by the sectors. And then China, speed up the renewable development. So we have the data and a figure here. I'll give you another 2 data. The first one, I think, last year, Chinese solar PV, the capacity reached about almost 300 gigawatt. This year, go beyond 400 gigawatt. And in the coming 2 years, the capacity will double. That means the total capacity in China for the solar PV will achieve about 800 to 1,000 gigawatt. So big, capacity. That means that's why green supply chain is very important. But now for China it's too fast. So in recent weeks, many of the Chinese provinces control our capacity increase because we don't have enough much policy and much smart grid and much energy security guarantees. So that's a China situation. The second data is price. For example, the solar PV in some area, in some province in China, the per kilometers hour, the price is less than 1 cent US dollars. So that means it's very, very cheap. So that's why we should use this kind of technology and products to meet Chinese goals, but also support and contribute to other countries' green transition, energy transitions. So that's a basic development. And also, I think we also need backup from coal and other energy. So we use it, diversify the energy resources, including the coal in short term, because the coal will provide the backup and also resilience, because China now is at high share and big scale of renewables. But for this kind of energy, only operate 1,200 hours each year, cannot supply the whole energy security issue. So that's why we need some coal and other source of the energy. So that's a second, three one. Third, last one, I think, more important is, on the one hand, is maintain and balance among the security, climate, and development. And on the other hand, I think we need learning by doing, because up now we have a different kind of, transition pathway. For example, For example, you can find we have the clean coal plus ultra high voltage electric transmission plus CCS is one option. We also have a wind PV plus a smart grid energy storage, and also demand side management. I think in these areas, Germany has a lot of experience. So, and the last one is hydro plus next generation advanced nuclear, and also the solar PV. The three and more pathways compete. Okay, and I think we should do a more comprehensive evaluation on this. So this about the China's experience. Renewable plus, you can find, we have PV plus poverty reduction, ecological restoration, for the fishery, and also produce green hydrogen and the manufacturing. So that's a basic idea. Last one, I would want to talk about the next step for the international cooperation. I think the first principle is rule-based, and we should follow up the current international agreement, including the UNFCCC, Paris Agreement, and also the Glasgow Climate Pact and the Sharm el-Sheikh implementation plan. And also use the best available science through the IPCC and the SBASTA. I think because it's under the UNFCCC, we have this kind of salary body for the science applications. And also we have another some channels, including the APEC, G7, G20, and also World Bank and IMF can play a more important roles. And then we must have a full implementation of the current action and the goals committed, especially NDCs. But we found we have a different scenario here, and the different scenario have a different result, and go beyond 2 degrees and 2 degrees. They have a lot of assumptions, so we must pay more attention to the assumptions and that makes these goals for the full implementation. And for the global stock taking later this year, I think also very important. I'm not sure EU could play contribute to the global stock taking process. And I think we have some key areas, including the technology innovation and also capacity building and enhancement, because this part will relate to some EU's services, including the data, including because we need this kind of establish new statistical system, accounting system, and also institutional setting and the governmental restructuring and training of the everything, local leaders, top leaders, and also some public people. And just transition is not a very important topic, and by industry, by region, and by sectors. So I think, but I'm not sure what's the role of the modeling in the future for this kind of just transition, because we need this kind of comprehensive. And also, I think we need more the financial gaps. We here mentioned about the development countries contribution adaptation fund loss and damage, and the MDB, the multilateral development bank reform, and also debt restructuring from developing countries and ESG, and so on. And for the loss damage, I think this year we have 3 steps, very important. Santiago Network will confirm the new secretary and also the advice body. And for the loss and damage fund, we'll fund what's the best party funding based on the rule, and also the ways for the contributing investment. And Glasgow dialogue will discuss the fund arrangement and option issues and the transition committee. And also difficult, up to now we have no common sense on the theory and the methodology, and also no clear definition or indicator or scoping of loss and damage. So I think in this area we have a long way to go. And also, Chinese, we have some potential contributions on the South-South cooperation and non-financial support. And for the strengthening China-EU cooperation, we have some, just to highlight some topic here, including continue the dialogue and to talk about how to resolve, give the common issues and give solutions. And also tap into the full potentials of energy efficiency improvement, including the circular economy development, and also working together for the coordinate and advocate on the global renewable energy targets, because, for example, Germany, you have a lot of experience on this, especially in the demand side. So I think the last one, we need the subnational cooperation and also the third part, cooperation for developing countries. So I would like to stop here. Thank you very much.